What's up everybody, this is Alex Yu with the Ragin Ronin review. At the last video you saw me giving a review for the Hangover Part 2, and I also mentioned that something exciting happened to me. So here's a little story. I was on my Twitter feed and then I saw someone mentioning that they're watching Hangover tonight. So I just logged on and then saw the show times and I went for the 10:30 showing. But then I left my house at 10 o'clock. But I felt, maybe that's okay because it's a Wednesday and then there shouldn't be that many people. So I went there, got my ticket. I entered the movie theater 10:15. It was pretty full. And I like sitting at the middle. You know, the middle column, middle row. That I think is the best view. But unfortunately, most of the seats are taken. So I had to settle for the right column, but second row from the front. Not the very front, but just where the column starts. I had to sit in the second row, but on the right column. So one row on the left or right column has 6 seats. There were 3 guys sitting on the very right side and then 3 empty seats. So I don't want to sit next to this guy, so I sat right in the very middle. So picture this, empty seat, me, empty seat, and 3 guys. So I'm sitting there and then 3 guys come along. One of them, the biggest guy, wearing a baseball cap, wearing a muscle shirt, comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you mind if you sit over there?" He's pointing at the seat in front of me, which is at the very corner against the wall, so that we can sit together. And I said, you know what, I can sit to the left or I can sit to the right, but I don't want to sit closer to the screen. The closer you are to the screen, the harder it is for you to see. I explained that to him. I said, I don't want to sit at the very front, but I can sit to the left or the right. That way, at least 2 of you are together, and then the other guy can sit at that seat you want me to sit at. And they said, oh okay. And then he walked off. The only seats available were at the very, very front. You know, those seats where you sit down and the next day you need a chiropractor because you're watching like this? So he sat down there. I was thinking, okay, well, you know, then they accepted and they sat at the bottom. And then a couple sat in the very, very front, but then they didn't like it and then they came back up and then they walked close to my row. I thought they were gonna ask me if it's okay if I move over, but then they didn't. So then they walked back over to where they originally came from, and that is the very, very front. And then he sat down. That couple was actually seated very close to the original guy that talked to me. So then he turns around and then he said, "Hey, why don't you quit being such a ass and give those 2 a seat?" And then at that point I was thinking, was he talking to me? Did he just swear at me? I looked at him and I said, "They didn't ask." And then he's still looking at me and I said, "They didn't bother to ask me." And then he turned it to look at the couple and then he said, You guys didn't ask him? And then he stopped talking. You know what? Think before you speak, because you just pwned yourself, buddy. I wanted to say more. I could have swore at him. I was thinking about all these things I could have said, but I'm not about to create a scene. I'm there to watch a movie, and I'm not gonna let some douchebag ruin my movie-going experience, and I'm not about to start any trouble. Like, I could have said, you know, like, watch your mouth or all this other stuff, but then that's not in my character. And plus, right after I said what I said, I was paying attention to his body language and I could tell he was really embarrassed. He was embarrassed about what he said because he thought he was getting back to me when in fact he ended up owning himself by not thinking before he spoke. And when the lights turned up, I was just thinking, should I let these guys walk first so that I don't have to walk with them? But I just decided I'm gonna walk first. I don't give a damn. I mean, if he wants to talk to me, let him talk to me. I'm just gonna tell him straight up what I said before. They didn't bother to ask. I was here first. I prefer not to sit that close to the screen. But you know what? When the lights turned up, I think he was still pretty embarrassed and didn't want to deal with me. So he stood up and then he just looked at the screen the whole time, long enough until I was long gone. So that's that. That's my story. And the moral of the story is come on time. I was already disappointed that I couldn't even find a seat in like further up in the middle and I had to settle for the side columns, and I absolutely hate the side columns because you have to watch at an angle. You know what? If that couple had asked me nicely, I would have totally shifted over. I would either gone left or right because it wouldn't have made that big of a difference. But for 3 of them to sit there and telling me to sit at the front, basically what they're trying to say is that, oh, hey, I hope you don't mind, but we would like you to move at this really shitty seat so that me and my late friends can take your seat. That's what you're saying. That's what you're really saying. So what you're trying to tell me is that me and my friends showed up late, but we'd like to take your seat, so can you please move? If you ask me nicely, maybe I'll move, but it's gotta be a better seat. Otherwise, you're gonna have to physically remove me, and that would be totally not cool. There's one of me and three of them. I'm not an idiot. I'm not about to be assaulted for a movie seat just because I decided to watch a movie by myself. And it's not because I don't have a whole lot of friends. It's actually just because nobody's ever available when I want to watch them at the times I want to watch it. Actually, no, that's not true. I don't have a whole lot of friends just because I'd rather make YouTube videos for you guys instead of hang out and do normal things that normal people do. I have friends. I have two of them. One of them's my boss. The other is my roommate's cousin's imaginary girlfriend. They're not that cool. But on occasion, we do have a pretty good time when we go out for frozen yogurt. But seriously, what does he think he was gonna do? Just like assault me in front of like hundreds of witnesses? But the point is that it's movie night for me. Why the hell would I want this to ruin my nights? So, like I said, the moral of the story is show up early. Don't be like these guys who come with a big group and then you want to all sit together. There's only like 5 or 10 minutes left before the movie starts. You're not gonna find anything. Normally, I like to watch movies with my friends, but lately I've been watching movies on my own, and I don't have a problem with that just because I like to watch the earlier showing so I can review the movie for you guys. And on top of that, I don't like my friends' availability or lack of availability to dictate whether or not I can go watch a movie. So with that being said, I want to ask you, because I came on time, I should have the right to stick with the seat that I picked at the very beginning, right? With what I did there, as in not giving up my seat, was I being a prick? I showed up 15 minutes earlier than those guys. I chose the seat that I liked, and I'm sticking with it. I didn't come here 15 minutes early just so that somebody can take my seat. Am I being a prick by saying that? And let me tell you this, at the end, I actually did end up giving my seat to a pair of ladies. If it's a bunch of guys, hell no. If it's a couple and they ask nicely, maybe. But if it's two ladies, hell freaking yeah. In fact, maybe you should do that next time you go to the movie by yourself. You just put your jacket next to you and you just wait for a girl to go up the aisle, and then she'll ask, hey, is the seat taken? And then you say, no it isn't. Anyway, so that's my question. 1, was I being a prick by not giving up my seat? And 2, do you have a right to stay where you are even if someone asks you to move one seat down? Is there something wrong about what I did? Like I said, at the end, I still ended up giving it up because all I had to do was move one to the right instead of moving one row closer to the screen. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. This is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching the Ragin Ronin review. Peace.
Party added those elements, and it has that witty Marvel superhero ones in the first one. And what's really cool is that saying that starting because his character is just so absolutely ridiculous. Man, shut the